One of these rather peculiar features about this whole story is this the size and the intensity, the complexity of everything. That's all the way into every lack of detail, you might say. It's so beyond any familiar, previously known concepts. To start with, we have this very bothersome mental health issue, and to start with, it is more or less a combination of all known conditions and like some kind of all-around disease, because it involves it really involves all known symptoms that in any way might be described as unhealthy. And not only that, it's also that the very intensity, the grade of things is also like world record level. All controls are set to 11, really. That's actually very much spot on description of how things are. It's like, imagine the worst you may think of, and then a bit more. So otherwise it might be a scale from 1 to 10. In this case, it's graded up to 11. Yeah, you imagine. No, possibly can't. No one really can. And then, apart from all these psychiatric issues, there are actually problems on, I should say, every single field in my entire life. Any trait that I have, any activity that I might be occupied with, any habit I might have, they are actually all symptoms. They are all infected and unnatural, and so on. And you might expect that I'm onto some substances, and yes, not to forget is that I am also physically violent, and I have these nasty mood swings, and in fact I'm so dangerous that grown-up people can't really be alone in the same room as I. You know, that's some serious business, real serious. And people start crying about the very look. You know, all this it came very sudden, almost the whole package at once. And there are some curious things about this too, because this is supposed to have been a problem for all my life, at least all my grown-up life, and very much on the same level all the time, only that it has become much worse recently. And it appears that never actually were any mental health issues. I might perhaps have told them, but you should not really trust me, because I have naturally this manipulative traits too, so be careful. But then it, for some reason, actually was confirmed, because these kind of things usually are diagnosed by psychiatry, but in this case didn't seem really necessary, and it turns out that it wasn't really, because this little detail that there never were any psychiatric issues is not really at all relevant, because now that it has actually become so much worse, must expect it to be treated in some way anyway. So some of these things make me a bit confused, perhaps. And I have this disability. I can't really take on other people's perspectives. That's the thing with all this, that everything actually is psychiatric symptom, and to that degree that you actually start in that end, and then into every situation. How can we explain this psychiatrically? You might think that some of these things would be rather easy to explain, and you know more or less how otherwise you would explain certain things when they occur among humans, but none of these regular models of explanation, theories, principles, morals, laws, values, none of it can actually be applied, because this is so beyond everything else that you can't expect any of it to actually work. So that's some of the piece to digest for us all.